The Wood Beyond the World. Chapter 5. Now they come to a new land. 3 days they drave before the wind, and on the 4th the clouds lifted, the sun shone out and the offing was clear. The wind had much abated, though it still blew a breeze, and was a head wind for sailing toward the country of Langton. So then the master said that, since they were bewildered, and the wind so ill to deal with, it were best to go still before the wind, that they might make some land and get knowledge of their whereabouts from the folk thereof. Withal he said that he deemed the land not to be very far distant. So did they, and sailed on pleasantly enough, for the weather kept on mending, and the wind fell till it was but a light breeze, yet still foul for Langton. So wore 3 days, and on the eve of the 3rd, the man from the topmast cried out that he saw land ahead, and so did they all before the sun was quite set, though it were but a cloud no bigger than a man's hand. When night fell they struck not sail, but went forth toward the land fair and softly, for it was early summer, so that the nights were neither long nor dark. But when it was broad daylight they opened a land, a long shore of rocks and mountains, and naught else that they could see at first. Nevertheless as day wore and they drew nigher, first they saw how the mountains fell away from the sea, and were behind a long wall of sheer cliff, and coming nigh yet, they beheld a green plain going up after a little in green bents and slopes to the feet of the said cliff wall. No city nor haven did they see there, not even when they were far nigh to the land. Nevertheless, whereas they hankered for the peace of the green earth after all the tossing and unrest of the sea, and whereas also they doubted not to find at the least good and fresh water, and belike other bait in the plain under the mountains, they still sailed on not unmerrily, so that by nightfall they cast anchor in 5 fathom water hard by the shore. Next morning they found that they were lying a little way off the mouth of a river not right great, so they put out their boats and towed the ship up into the said river, and when they had gone up it for a mile or thereabouts they found the sea water failed. For little was the ebb and flow of the tide on that coast. Then was the river deep and clear, running between smooth grassy land like to meadows. Also on their left board they saw presently 3 head of neat cattle going, as if in a meadow of a homestead in their own land, and a few sheep, and thereafter, about a bow draught from the river, they saw a little house of wood and straw thatch under a wooded mound, and with orchard trees about it. They wondered little thereat, for they knew no cause why that land should not be builded, though it were in the far outlands. However, they drew their ship up to the bank, thinking that they would at least abide a while and ask tidings and have some refreshing of the green plain, which was so lovely and pleasant. But while they were busied herein they saw a man come out of the house and down to the river to meet them, and they soon saw that he was tall and old, long hoary of hair and beard, and clad mostly in the skins of beasts. He drew nigh without any fear or mistrust, and coming close to them gave them the seal of the day in a kindly and pleasant voice. The shipmaster greeted him in his turn, and said withal, "Old man, art thou the king of this country?" The elder laughed. "It hath had none other a long while," said he, "and at least there is no other son of Adam here to gainsay." "Thou art alone here then?" said the master. "Yea," said the old man, "save for the beasts of the field and the wood and the creeping things and fowl. Wherefore it is sweet to me to hear your voices." Said the master, "Where be the other houses of the town?" The old man laughed. Said he, "When I said that I was alone, I meant that I was alone in the land, and not only alone in this stead. There is no house save this betwixt the sea and the dwellings of the bears over the cliff wall yonder, yea, and a long way over it." "Yea," quoth the shipmaster grinning, "and be the bears of thy country so manlike, that they dwell in builded houses?" The old man shook his head. "Sir," said he, "as to their bodily fashion it is altogether manlike, save that they be one and all higher and bigger than most. For they be bears only in name, they be a nation of half-wild men, for I have been told by them that there be many more than that tribe whose folk I have seen, and that they spread wide about behind these mountains from east to west. Now, sir, as to their souls and understandings I warrant them not, for miscreants they be, trowing neither in God nor his hallows." Said the master, "Trow they in Mahound then?" "Nay," said the elder, "I wot not for sure that they have so much as a false god, though I have it from them that they worship a certain woman with mickle worship." Then spake Walter, "Yea, good sir, and how knowest thou that? Dost thou deal with them at all?" Said the old man, "While some of that folk come hither and have of me what I can spare, a calf or 2, or a half-dozen of lambs or hoggets, or a skin of wine or cider of mine own making, and they give me in return such things as I can use, as skins of hart and bear and other peltries, for now I am old I can but little of the hunting hereabout. Whiles, also, they bring little lumps of pure copper, and would give me gold also, but it is of little use in this lonely land. Sooth to say, to me they are not masterful or rough-handed, but glad am I that they have been here but of late, and are not like to come again this while, for terrible they are of aspect, and whereas ye be aliens, belike they would not hold their hands from off you. And moreover ye have weapons and other matters which they would covet sorely. Quoth the master, since thou dealest with these wild men, will you not deal with us in chaffer? For whereas we are come from long travel, we hanker after fresh victual, and here aboard are many things which were for thine avail. Said the old man, all that I have is yours, so that ye do but leave me enough till my next ingathering. Of wine and cider, such as it is, I have plenty for your service, ye may drink it till it is all gone, if ye will, a little corn and meal I have. But not much, yet are ye welcome thereto, since the standing corn in my garth is done blossoming, and I have other meat. Cheeses have I and dried fish, take what ye will thereof. But as to my neat and sheep, if ye have sore need of any, and will have them, I may not say you nay, but I pray you if ye may do without them, not to take my milch beasts or their engenderers, for, as ye have heard me say, the bear folk have been here but of late. And they have had of me all I might spare, but now let me tell you, if ye long after flesh meat, that there is venison of hart and hind, yea, and of buck and doe, to be had on this plain, and about the little woods at the feet of the rock wall yonder, neither are they exceeding wild, for since I may not take them, I scare them not, and no other man do they see to hurt them, for the bear folk come straight to my house and fare straight home thence. But I will lead you the nighest way to where the venison is easiest to be gotten. As to the wares in your ship, if ye will give me aught I will take it with a good will, and chiefly if you have a fair knife or two, and a roll of linen cloth, that were a good refreshment to me. But in any case what I have to give is free to you and welcome. The shipmaster laughed. Friend, said he, we can thee mickle thanks for all that thou biddest us. And what well that we be no lifters or sea thieves to take thy livelihood from thee. So tomorrow, if thou wilt, we will go with thee and upraise the hunt, and meanwhile we will come alund and walk on the green grass and water our ship with thy good fresh water. So the old carle went back to his house to make them ready what cheer he might, and the shipmen, who were 21, all told, what with the mariners and Arnold and Walter's servants, went ashore, all but 2 who watched the ship and abode their turn. They went well weaponed, for both the master and Walter deemed wariness wisdom, lest all might not be so good as it seemed. They took of their sail-cloths ashore and tilted them in on the meadow betwixt the house and the ship, and the carle brought them what he had for their avail, of fresh fruits, and cheeses, and milk, and wine, and cider, and honey, and there they feasted nowise ill, and were right fain.